We're back.
We are back.
We are finally back.
Yes. The boys
Did you guys miss us?
are back.
I missed you guys. I really did.
A long winter, very long winter.
Yeah.
It was.
We did kind of stop a little abruptly. Let's just talk to the fans real quick. We apologize for quitting halfway through last year.
Yeah, we stopped.
We got real busy.
But we got busy. Life gets in the way. And to be honest with you, Verstappen won in Japan, Suzuka. The rest of the season, realistically, aside from the whole Checo Red Bull drama with Verstappen and him not letting him pass him in Brazil to get points, get second place going into the final race, that was really the biggest controversy that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aside from Ferrari's strategy again, shouldn't have bet Frankie, but
it was a boring.
Hopefully this year it'll be better.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, and even the things that we like, the big drama from last year as well, like the Oscar Piastri kind of stuff, we did hit that anyways too. That was right around the summer break.
Yeah.
So we got all that out of the way. If anybody here, I'm sure they did watch the Drive to Survive documentary on Netflix, you would have seen that maybe the other drama was like the whole Alpine versus McLaren kind of battle at the end of the season. But other than that, the big storylines, yeah, Verstappen just absolutely destroyed the entire competition. Red Bull's on a whole nother level. And the rest of it just kind of played out like side stories, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, we didn't deserve, the fans didn't deserve that, but you know,
we'll do better.
We love you guys, and we hope that you guys still enjoy the show, and hopefully we gained a lot of new followers for Formula One, not only for our podcast but for the sport, because it is a growing sport, as we know, especially here in North America. But yeah, no, it's definitely it's great to be back. I'm loving this.
Oh yeah.
I'll be honest with you though. Let me start off with Bahrain. I don't like the track. It's very dull. It's a dull track. I don't like it.
2 years ago when Checo had his first win, it was at the same track, but it was the Secure track. That's when they opened it up, right? It's almost like an oval.
Yeah. It's almost like a rectangle.
Yeah, rectangle. That was electric.
Yeah.
Like, that was a sick track because it was all just flat out pretty much.
This one's just very like, there's so much room. There's room for error. There is, because it's so much runoff area. It's not like if you make an error in like Monaco and you go into the wall, it's like you have a lot of room for error. So it's, you know, the drivers they don't have to be as skilled, I don't think, to drive at Bahrain than, you know, if you're at Monaco or Saudi that's coming up, which is I think Saudi's my favorite track.
Yeah.
100%.
Wait, how many years have they started the first race of the season at Bahrain? This is only a few years right now.
Since COVID, because I think
Australia shut down.
Australia was supposed to be the first one in the season back in 2020, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I remember. Yeah, because they were there. Remember they were there.
Yeah, it was like this time.
First race of the season.
March.
Yeah.
They shut it down. It was. I think there was either the Friday for practice or it was like qualifying Saturday, and they shut her down.
Yeah.
So where did Grosjean get that? Where's that accident Grosjean was in? That was in Bahrain?
That was
no.
Where was that at?
No, I'm pretty sure.
I think that was Bahrain. That was a Secure track.
That might have been that was Secure, I think.
Secure. Yeah. Yes, it was Secure. Yeah. Because you know why they were talking about it? They talked about it on the, what's it called? The broadcast.
Oh, okay.
They're talking about it. Yeah.
I just want to go off a limb here and say I'm not a fan of Rosberg.
Oh, wow. Where'd that come from?
I had to get it out of myself. I cannot stand him.
Like, Frank just like drops the hammer like 5 minutes in. Like, just...
yeah,
we're getting into the big stuff right away, Frankie. Oh man, yeah. You know what? I'll be honest with you though. I do like Rosberg. So I don't know what do you not like about him?
I just don't like him.
Why?
Some people
you gotta have
a
reason.
Yeah, no,
I don't like George Russell because he looks like a ventriloquist dummy. That's my second biggest thing.
That's great.
It's that job.
The first thing is he's a little whiny baby. Did you see what he said at the end of the race? It's like Red Bull have this championship sewn up. I wouldn't be surprised if they win every race this year. Like, buddy, that's real good sportsmanship and fucking way to have pride in your team, you little fucking pussy.
Yeah, that was kind of strange to see, like right at the beginning of the season. I don't know if was that right after the race or right before the race. It was
right after.
It was after the race. You can't be saying that kind of stuff. Like maybe think that, but to put that on blast, like
So you just put like your entire team and like the entire factory on blast.
That's
Like
what I
everything
mean.
that they work for in the offseason, you just said you guys didn't do good enough and you gave us a shit car again.
But at the same time, he's also complimenting Red Bull. Like it was kind of like tongue in cheek, like he was trying to give Red Bull props, but at the same time, like maybe have a dig at Mercedes too, because in his defense, like Mercedes was so dominant, and in the first 2 years that he gets there, he might not have a good car to like race with.
Yeah, but he was also the only one that won in a Mercedes last year.
No, that's true.
I think he's salty though. I really think he's salty.
He is salty, 100%.
I think he thought he was gonna come into that team. He'd be competing for a championship like Lewis did prior 8 years, where coincidentally he came in to the new year, a new era, and they're not a good team.
Yeah, and what did he finish? I think he finished 9th in the race too. Probably that was. I think that's his worst finish with Mercedes because last year he was like within the top 5 almost every race, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except for a few. He finished 7th.
Yeah, so there you go.
He was the last. He was the last of like the competitive drivers because the next person after that was Bottas, and he was, 17 seconds behind him finishing the race.
Yeah.
So the top 7 were all 55 seconds, like after Verstappen. Like when after Verstappen won, it was like 12, 38, 48, 50, 54, 55 seconds behind.
Well, I can't believe how fast Verstappen pulled ahead of Leclerc at the beginning of that race.
Yeah.
Like the Red Bull, clearly they haven't skipped a beat off the RB18. Actually, they were going on to say that Aston Martin totally copied the RB18. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah, we heard that before.
Checo said it was nice to see 3 Red Bulls on the podium. But I mean, like it's the same thing that we've heard with when Racing Point did the Mercedes.
The Mercedes.
Yeah, the W.
Right? And it's like I was telling you before the podcast, Frank, I don't know where I heard this from. It might have been Ted Kravitz on the broadcast again during FP2 maybe. And he said that Aston Martin has acquired 2 valuable Red Bull engineers that had a significant impact on the aerodynamics of the car, and also one Mercedes engineer. So, like you said, Lawrence Stroll's probably, giving him a couple bucks behind scenes and everything, right? With, giving him information and all that stuff. And to be honest with you, I couldn't tell the difference of the car from last year, the Aston Martin one. It looked like the side pods and everything were relatively the same. And Mercedes now, I guess, is going with the side pod concept. They're going to take off the no side pods. I read that today too. Yeah. They're going to just say, fuck it, this doesn't work. We've had a year and a race, realistically, with no side pods, and everything that we do to this car doesn't change the performance on it for aero.
The next team was Alonso in 3rd, and they were 38 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, but it was a weird race. Like we saw Red Bull go soft to soft, which I didn't think was going to happen. That was kind of bizarre. I didn't know the reason behind that, because you're going to have to pit the hards regardless. So
I think
you just have 2 hard stints. You already have the pace to run Ferrari.
They're saying they didn't have the tires that I don't think they didn't have an extra set of hards. I think.
Oh, yeah, they were short one compound, like fresh of one of the compounds.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Actually, didn't they use up the one soft in qualifying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think in their planning, they were going to say like we have to use at least one of these used tires. Let's try to get the maybe softs out of the way first.
Yeah.
And then they can roll on newer hards for the rest of the race, which I don't mind that idea.
Was it Hamilton or Russell that was 55 seconds off the pace? So I think it was Hamilton.
That finished the well, Russell was.
So the Mercedes were about a minute per lap off the pace. That's scary to think about. Scary to think about.
Yeah, they didn't seem very competitive. So I think it was, I forget who it was during the broadcast. It might have been, it might have been Russell they were talking about. They said that they think that for the rest of the season, it'll probably be like Red Bull up top, maybe Ferrari be competitive too. But then they're like, it's just going to be a back of the race like battle between all the other teams because we know for a fact now like Aston Martin is kind of on par with Mercedes. It looks like,
which I love.
I love that too.
I love that.
Mercedes.
I called this last year.
We'll see what AlphaTauri can do. We'll see what we'll see if Alfa Romeo can still be good with Bottas and like whatever he can do there. Alpine's going to be competitive as well. I think they had an off race this year or this race here, but I mean like. if they can just say now Red Bull's gonna win the title and Max will win the title, which like seems like it probably will happen. If they call that right now and just say that's what's gonna happen, I'm okay with it. I want to see a midfield battle though. I want to see
Yes.
who comes in P2, P3.
I totally
P4.
agree. I
Like,
totally agree.
It's just not as fun anymore because we know that like even like when Hamilton was dominating like a decade ago for as long as he did, the more entertaining shit was behind him.
Yeah.
100%. And you notice that like the broadcast stopped like kind of following them after a while too, right?
Yeah. Within like 15 laps, Max was just like gone on his own level.
Yeah,
so
like they had to remind the viewers. They're like, "Oh yeah, Max Verstappen's a minute and a half ahead of everyone." By the way, guys, like
there's someone in first place.
But to be honest with you, I totally agree with you on that, Andrew. Because now it's just kind of like if they say that Red Bull has it sewn up or whatever, now you're like, okay, well, who can I focus on to watch now? You know what I mean? Like, who can I go for now? Like, I'm not going to be Mr. Red Bull this year if they're going to be winning every race. Like, I don't. And if it's not a close battle for the championship and they have it, so like whatever. Like, I want to see Alonso and Hamilton battle it out. I want to see Alonso and Sainz again battle it out. I loved watching the overtakes by Fernando, and you get to actually see his craft on a modern day car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's that's exciting. That's probably the most exciting part of the season.
So
I don't want to talk about McLaren. Because McLaren shit.
They're in trouble. So Verstappen are number one. Who's number two? Who's the second best driver? Or who is
this year?
Yeah, like, who's competing with Verstappen? Is anybody competing with him, or is it just 2 to 5 that are competing?
I honestly think he's going to be in a league of his own this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's won.
He's gonna just look. He wins in such dominant fashions.
Yeah,
it's like he just does it. He doesn't make mistakes. As long as that car can be reliable for the season, there is a very good chance that he could win every single race this year.
Like Perez is not even near him. Not even near him.
No.
He's not even in the same playing field.
Like last year we saw it to be like in Bahrain. It was a great battle between Leclerc and Verstappen.
Yeah.
This year it was like I said, like they had to remind the viewers that he's still in the lead. Right, like
it's the first race of the year too.
And honestly, I don't think that that's good for the sport. But I do think that the design of these cars, you can 100% see that they follow closer, and I think that the budget cap is also doing its thing, not doing its thing, but it's effective.
It's working.
It's working clearly because we're seeing these smaller teams coming up and performing with these massive names like Mercedes and Ferrari. Like you have Aston Martin in the mix now. Alpine, I don't know. Alpine didn't really have that good of a weekend. Ocon was getting fucking bukkakied with penalties. And then Gasly actually finished P9.
Yeah,
which was good for that.
He started
finished
in
the points. Yeah, he finished in the points. He was the only guy on hards. So like, props to him. Or no, Magnussen was the only guy on hards. I don't know. I think he
started
the Haas. They get screwed every freaking race. I don't understand.
They do. Wolfenberg had a great qualifying too.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but they get something wrong or they are unlucky because every single race seems like they're not anywhere near where they should be.
Yeah. And I think just going back to like who's going to compete with the Max kind of thing, I feel like the only real competition we'll see with Max will be in qualifying. Like if someone can maybe outdo him there. But the only thing is, now I'm thinking about it, let's just say Checo is he beats Max out in qualifying for P1. Come the race, they're gonna want Max to win still.
Oh, he'd be gone.
So it's like even like the team. So it's like I feel like even if like Checo can outperform Max in the qualifying session, which is like good for him, kudos to him, gets a pole position.
Yeah.
When the race comes, they're gonna say, hey, don't fight Max. Because Max's race pace is like it beats anyone else's. 100%. So by lap 3 or 4, I'm sure that Verstappen will be right behind Checo's ass, and they'll say, "Hey, don't fight him, let him pass," and then there you go. There's another race win for Verstappen.
Yeah, and we saw that with last year too.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like I think people are, it's the car. I honestly think that he's just faster. He's just faster.
Yeah, no, he's elite.
Like, and he was doing this. He was doing like putting in lap times and winning races with. Not a mediocre car for Red Bull, but like a car that was relatively middle of the pack in like 2018.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You know what I mean? Like that wasn't a winning car, and he was still up at the front fighting. And the pace that he had with the car like that was the way that he would put his car in positions that he did. Like I think he's honestly just pure. He's just a pure race driver.
Yeah, his raw talent.
It is, and like he doesn't
power.
Hamilton. It is raw power.
Raw power.
It's raw power.
He's
but like Sorry, Frankie, go ahead.
He's like
I'm talking a lot.
He's the McDavid of hockey. He's the LeBron
Yes.
of basketball. He's
Yes.
just
Right now,
no one,
he is. Yeah.
no one touched him.
100%.
Can't touch him.
No, definitely not. And like I said, I don't think it's good for the sport. I don't like seeing it. I'm a Red Bull fan, but I will be the first one to tell you that I don't enjoy a season where the driver's champion wins by 250 points.
Yeah.
Like I don't. That's not like fun.
Well,
Okay,
so there's 23 races. You gotta think he's gonna win at least 18 of them, 17 of them.
I don't know why you can't say he can't. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
He
like
won
something-
14 last year? No.
He
Uh,
won
beat
14
Bell
races
last
last
year,
year.
it might be more than that. I think he set a record. It's like 15 or 16 or something.
See that? Yeah, I'll be honest with you
It
guys.
was a lot.
I didn't really watch many races after Suzuka.
I still kept an eye on it, but I didn't follow it as.
I
hard
had
as
an eye on
did.
it, but I just wasn't like it's not our. If this was our job, then yes. You know what I mean? It would be great. I would love this to be my full time job. This would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't. I didn't really watch much of the season at the end because I didn't. Not that I didn't care. I was just kind of like, oh, the season's over. It's kind of how I feel. Not how I feel right now, but it's like if it's gonna be like this all year, like fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just hypothetically, let's just say somehow something happens and level playing field, like it's basically Formula 2 cars. Okay.
Okay.
If you were to look at an actual competitor for Max this year, who do you think would be the one right there? Do you think it's Leclerc's turn? Do you think Hamilton can come back? Like
I think it's
I
Leclerc.
think
I'm gonna go with
Leclerc,
Leclerc.
too.
I think
I'm
Leclerc.
a little biased, but I don't know. I am, but I'm
That's
not.
fine.
I think Leclerc is. He's.
I'll go with Leclerc too, Frankie.
I
100%.
think he's there.
Yeah.
See, this is where I want to bring up to you guys too, is a little more on Ferrari side. We can get that after, but like we have two drivers, Leclerc and Sainz, and I just feel like since Sainz this came to Ferrari, got to know him personally a little better. Not personally, but get to know him a little better through the interviews and stuff. I feel like he's a complainer.
I think
Did you guys get that? I think he
Yeah,
complains a lot.
even at McLaren, I remember that.
He just nothing is his fault.
Complained a lot. Yeah.
If something's wrong with the car, always it's like, dude, just kind of shut up and go out there and drive. If you're that good, if you think you're a top driver, go there and drive.
Like, yeah, can you please just drive the car?
Yeah,
And just
instead of worrying
stop.
about.
But at the same time, like in Leclerc's case just now in Bahrain, like if you're driving 47 laps with a perfectly good car, you're in P2 or P3 it was, and the car just dies on you. That's not the driver's fault.
No,
No.
it's not his fault.
No.
And it's just the same old shit with Ferrari. Like just like I don't understand this team, man, because they have all that shit happen last year. That's last year. Let's write it off. This year they come in, Leclerc gets a new upgrades on his vehicle, gets new upgrades on the engine, all that kind of stuff. Perfectly 100% fresh new car. Engine dies in lap 47.
Yeah, they were saying not the battery, but it was
The ICE or something, and like there's
they put
all
a
the
new
other
component.
components.
Yeah, they put it. I don't understand why they put a new component pre-race. Like why is
It was a battery. It was the batteries.
Battery, yeah.
They switched the batteries because
pre-race.
something was happening in qualifying.
It was in
And I
like
guess-
Parc Ferme. It was like when they were on the track, like ready
Yeah.
for, like it was right there.
Yeah, it was the batteries. I remember him
I don't
saying.
understand the why you know some preseason testing.
Pop some double A's in there and let her eat, buddy.
Yeah,
But that's what I mean. Like you're literally making a last second chance, but you're putting a fresh, brand new thing.
yeah.
You would think in theory it would work. It would be fine.
But to be honest with you, though, I did think that Ferrari had a bold strategy not sending Leclerc back out in qualifying to try and get pole. Like they just kind of settled with where he was at. And I think it was so they didn't use up another set of soft tires,
Yeah, that was the reason. I also think too
which is
that-
smart.
yeah,
And I like to see Ferrari going more towards that strategy side because they know they didn't have the pace in the car.
Yeah.
Okay. At least they'll have an advantage of having another set of brand new softs in the
Mhm.
garage. You know what I mean?
I think Ferrari knows that their fights with Perez and
Yes.
maybe Alonso rather than Verstappen.
Yeah.
I think they got to realize that.
I want to
And-
say this too,
Go ahead.
real quick. I love seeing Fernando Alonso back up at the top.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is so good for the sport. This
Yeah.
is so good for the sport.
No, I totally agree. That's awesome. Like him making the passing that he did, because he does things differently. Because like you see,
Yes.
like Hamilton does a lot of his passing on straights because he's just got a lot of speed in that Mercedes. But Hamilton,
Fastest car.
yeah, but Alonso is just like bobbing and weaving. He does that inside outside.
He does
kinda
the
thing on
fake. He
Hamilton
goes to
there,
the
like,
fake on the outside and then he'll break cut to the inside.
Yeah,
Like
You think-
incredible.
You think him and Max are very similar drivers?
Yes.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
And I think, okay, if you want to talk about who's who and who compares to who, I would say that Schumacher, Alonso, and Verstappen are very similar. And Senna and Niki Lauda and Lewis Hamilton are in that type of group.
Yeah.
Think about Schumacher.
It's not bad,
If you
yeah.
actually watch like Schumacher highlights, like I was not fortunate enough to be able to see Michael Schumacher in his prime, but like the aggressiveness that he had was is very similar to Verstappen. If you look at Alonso too, like he's so crafty and aggressive also himself, but he's
I would
also
love-
smart with the car.
I would dream of putting those 6 in the same car together
Oh my god.
and doing it and driving. Could you imagine?
Yeah,
A lot of
You know-
carnage.
incredible.
Like you know how people talk all the time. Like let's go back to hockey. Gretzky versus McDavid. All that stuff. LeBron versus Jordan. Imagine like a Hamilton versus. I mean, they did race together, but not really. Schumacher versus Verstappen. Like that'd be
Yes, just on pure lap time too. Just like one
Yeah.
qualifying lap each. Let's see.
we got teased with it in 2021.
Same car, same setup. Schumacher versus Verstappen, Senna versus Hamilton, Alonso versus Niki Lauda.
You
Jesus
bet.
Christ.
Kind of sick.
Like an all-star team.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think just the comparison of those 6 drivers, like I feel like the Hamiltons and like the Sennas, they were just again using like the power of the car, where the other guys like Schumacher, Verstappen, what'd you say?
Schumacher, Verstappen, Alonso,
Senna.
Alonso. It's like
Senna,
they use-
Lauda, and Hamilton.
Yeah, the Verstappen, Schumacher, and Alonso, they like use the entire like catalog of the car. You know what I mean? Like they use like
Yeah.
every component of the car to make a pass. Where like I feel like Hamilton, like on a straight, he can make a pass, really good
Yeah.
speed.
And that's why he's not aggressive. He's not an aggressive driver. And
No.
but I mean, if you're gifted the fastest car on straights and you just wait to pass people on straights, like you're a fucking loser. Sorry.
But at the same time, he was so dominant in a sport where it pays dividends to be dominant because you're out in front. You don't have to pass
Yeah.
guys anyways, too.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
That's the
I
thing,
guess.
like-
and at the end of the day, the whole point is to win.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I understand.
Why
that
wasn't
for them.
Bottas? Why wasn't Bottas passing people like that?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
also
wasn't Bottas
why isn't
passing?
Perez a minute and a half ahead
Exactly.
of? I like. There's no
It's-
way that those cars are all equal. I think that is total bullshit.
Think so?
Yes. How can Verstappen be almost a minute faster than Perez at one point in the race?
I thought at one
It's
point
it's
that
insane. It's the
cars
same
were-
car, and I
Yeah.
understand that Max. It's set up like more for Max. He's the number one driver there. It's all engineered to what Max's liking is. He likes a loose rear end of the car, right? Checo likes it more, not pointy. There's another term for it. I can't
More
remember. Toy, like a toiga. But if it's set up to Max, I understand it's a disadvantage for Checo, but still, it's the
to be that
fastest
far off the
car.
pace. Yeah, to be
Yeah,
that far off
Like,
the pace.
I don't
is-
get it. I don't get it.
He's just too good. I think it's honestly just raw talent.
Yep.
I really do. I really think it's
I'm in
raw
on that.
talent with these guys.
And now, like obviously with them winning the constructors last year, they do prove that they have like a really dominant car.
Yeah.
Like it's just a full package right now for them, and I don't see them slowing down at all.
Yeah. That Sargent guy, the Mercedes
Logan.
Williams.
Yes, sir.
the-
Sir, yes, sir.
American. He had a good race.
He did,
Yeah.
actually.
Had a
Yeah.
good race. Even Albon had a pretty good race.
Albon
too.
too in the
Where
Williams,
did,
yeah,
Stroll finished what, 6th?
6, yep.
Yeah,
just-
Aston, Andrew, like you got to be wearing your Aston Martin hat right now.
I know I got it upstairs. I want to support the pod right now.
Yeah,
double
I know.
double down, but I'll definitely have it on. I bought that hat last year for Vettel, not really for Lance Stroll, but
You bought it for
now
Alonso
I got it for Alonso. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't mind
There you
it.
go. Hey, you know what?
McLaren's in trouble, I think, boys. McLaren's in big trouble.
I don't want to come back right now and say that I 100% predicted this with Aston Martin last year. If we can
You
roll the
talked about
clip
it.
when
Yeah.
I said Aston Martin is going to be a force because they're 100% a force. Clearly now that they have that new wind tunnel in 2023, which I said, I called this, Frankie, you owe me 3 beers.
3 beers. Deal.
So I'll
Just
give
3
one to
beers?
Andrew and then one to you.
I'll take it.
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
great.
Yeah, just touch on McLaren real quick. I mean, Piastri coming in there, not really doing anything on his debut. First one to DNF.
Yeah. Norris had lots of problems too.
Norris
He
problems
pit
as well.
what 6 times?
Yeah, they had some air problems, I guess, in the vacuum
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
He pit what 6 times. Yeah, but we're off to Jeddah now. So
We're off to Jeddah, my favorite track. It's going to be speed.
Very
Yeah,
fast
all
track.
speed, dangerous,
It's an all balls track, boys.
but it'll be entertaining for everyone. So
Yeah.
we will be back after the Jeddah race next week. We'll come back with a podcast. We'll be on YouTube, be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Get us where you can. Boys, we're out.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.